Hello everyone. I'd like to chat to you about something that I learned as slip sheeting. I first came across this term when I was reading some BIM documentation. I think it was in PAS 1192 documentation, or maybe in a post, and everybody was talking about slip sheeting, and I thought to myself, I do not understand what this is, but let me try and figure it out. And eventually I did. And it made a lot of sense to me as well. Of course, at that stage, the ISO 19650 standards weren't out yet. And the PAS 1192 I followed religiously, and I included the suitability code and the major revision within the file name. Fast forward a few years, and we have the situation where our file names do not include the suitability code and the major revision behind the file name. So when I look at a file name like this, most of you would probably know the same, it's telling me, the first bit of the code is telling me that is the project that I'm working on. It's called COP. The company that, or the originator of the file, is MG or MFX, that's us. Then it's all zones and all levels. Those are the next two. It's a three-dimensional model file, and it's of the architectural discipline. And then there is a number which differentiates this file from any other file which might share the same information as before, and also acts, in the case of Revit and some others, as a placeholder for the sheet number. That is simple enough. But there's no suitability code and there's no major revision to identify this file with. So what is the solution? Well, built into the Autodesk platform now, on the Autodesk docs, one has our metadata, or what we refer to as attributes. The description is very useful. That also used to be part of the name of the file, if one so wished. And it is still something that I would love Autodesk to include within the Revit platform when one opens a file from the cloud. Interpreting the file name can sometimes be very difficult, and it would just be a time saver if we could have the description available within Revit when we are trying to open models from the cloud. But it's still not a problem because we can look it up from somewhere in the table. So how urgent is it? I don't know, but it would be very useful. The rest of the metadata, let's hide some of it, the project. Then we get to the type and the role and the number, and then the status, or the status and revision. Alright, so this is now where we get to the status. That is the suitability code. Alright, so as the project progresses, we will go from a work in progress to something that's ready to be shared, all through there until it gets into construction and maybe eventually client clearance. That's based on the PAS 1192 documentation, which has now been adopted in the ISO standard. Understandable. We've got the major revision number. So if something major has changed within the file, then we'd like to record that as a major revision. The classification number, that's useful. And then the version number. So what the version number is for this folder, and only for this folder, into which this file has been loaded, it records each successive upload of this file, be it published from Revit or uploaded from some other location with the same name. It will automatically update the version of this file. That's simple to understand. What's great about this is that one can compare one version of the file to an earlier version of the file. And one can also choose by clicking on that version which version of the file one would like to make the current version. So let's take something like the revision number. Let's say that for version 12, this is now metadata, which I add manually to the platform, that is major revision PO3. Similarly, I could have, maybe this file has gone from S0 to S1. That's a very important piece of information. It means that this version of this file may be shared with other people. The design is far enough so that I can share the information. It's no longer a work in progress that can't be trusted for collaboration or for coordination purposes. Great. But now what about version 11? Surely version 11 should still be a file that has a work in progress status, it hasn't changed, and its revision should be PO2. So let's see what happens when I roll, or not roll back, this isn't really roll back, but I'm going to make version 11, V11, I'm going to make version 11 current. Let's see what happens to the metadata. Ah, they fixed it. All right, so here's me eating crow. In the few weeks from which I've seen this, they fixed it. That's excellent. All right, so we've got a working platform. We can now differentiate between our versions and their metadata. That's excellent. Well done, Autodesk. This is amazing. Thank you very much. I now like this platform more than ever. Yes, please, look at that. S1, PO3. Let's look at version 11. S0, PO2. Thank you very much. Well, I started out by thinking that the platform is still the same and that it hasn't developed. I'm happy to say that I am wrong. I eat humble pie, and I thank Autodesk for improving this platform. This is what it should be working like. This is what true slip sheeting is. We are recording metadata against the versions of the files that were updated. We can trust the information. We know what the files are for. This is awesome. Thank you, Autodesk. Whoa, this cloud is improving at a rate of knots, and I am enjoying it tremendously. I hope you do as well, and I hope you also get positively surprised by the technology, and I hope also that you get the opportunity to become involved in projects that leverage the cloud against your building projects. I've now just been made happy. Autodesk has fixed what bothered me. Have a great evening, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and that you get, like I said, the opportunity to enjoy this technology. Until next time, keep well.